The basic plot of Bubblestand is about when SpongeBob builds a bubble stand for in front of his house to do bubble lessons for the main characters and stuff. And Patrick joins on the fun later on, and so is Squidward, basically. And after some, techniquing and stuff like that, and some practice, SpongeBob managed to basically teach them the lessons and do the technique and stuff. After some techniquing, Squidward blows a big bubble and it managed to blow up to blow up and go in the air. But then after SpongeBob cheers for Squidward and congratulates him for blowing the biggest bubble, the bubble then comes back and gets towards house, and then SpongeBob tries to warn him, and then basically the bubble goes up in the air and pops. And the episode ends with SpongeBob going back to the house and Squidward's house falling back to the ground, and that's how the episode ends. This episode is really fun, honestly, too, as well. This is another amazing episode in season 1, honestly. I can't believe we have 3 episodes that are just hit after hit after hit, honestly, in this season so far. And I'm definitely excited to see if we'll get any other episodes that will be in either 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, honestly. And I can't wait to see what the other ones will be like. So that'll be exciting. As my overall score of this episode is a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I like this episode a lot, and I definitely recommend it for a fan of SpongeBob, honestly. Next up is Rip Pants, which is an episode that I think is another decent one, honestly. Not amazing, but definitely decent. So what's the plot of Rip Pants, basically? Well, the plot of Rip Pants is that Spon rips his... After, going into, a lifting competition, he rips his pants, and basically, then it causes everyone to laugh, and he keeps trying to do this until he can press Sandy and stuff. And he also thinks it's also funny too. Basically, what happens after that is that SpongeBob keeps ripping his pants in Goo Lagoon, and everyone was getting some people were getting annoyed by it. And after that, SpongeBob does try one more final rip pants trick by trying to surf on a surfboard, and then after falling into this water and trying to trick everyone that he was drowning and stuff. And then after, when asking if he was alright and what he needed, he asked he needed Taylor and said he ripped his pants. And then basically after that, everyone got angry at SpongeBob for making them really sick and stuff. And basically then then everyone left SpongeBob and he ripped his pants again, and then basically everyone was not watching and stuff. SpongeBob thought he was the biggest loser on the beach, and basically then there was other people that appears that are also the biggest loser on the beach, and then finally they all sing a song called Rip Pants, which is the best part of this whole episode. And basically then, and after that whole song, Sandy forgives SpongeBob for all the stuff he did today, on that day, basically. And then Larry was impressed by SpongeBob's song and decides to ask SpongeBob for an autograph. And then SpongeBob accidentally rips his underwear, and then that's how the episode ends. This episode is very decent as well. I will say I prefer Tia Tetridum over this, to be fair. Actually, I do prefer Tia Tetridum. I do actually prefer this episode over Tia Tetridum, honestly. But this episode is still kind of decent as well. I think my biggest problem with this episode is that it relies on one joke, and I think that it does rely on one joke, and I do think that's a little repetitive, because this will be also something that will be appearing in the later seasons, but I still think that repeating jokes in an episode is kind of a little annoying, to be honest, but I guess I do get why they did this, because this is the whole point of the episode, to be honest. But yeah, what can you do, honestly? My highlights of this episode is definitely the Rip Pants song and some of the jokes, to be honest, but at least the beginning of the episode is also really good too. And Larry's actually very likable in this episode, but besides that, this episode is kind of just there and okay. Not the best season 1 episode, but not the worst one either. Trust me, we'll get there when we get there, to be honest, what I consider the worst season 1 episode, to be honest. But this still is just kind of a decent episode, to be honest. But not bad either. My overall score of Rip Pants is going to be a 6 out of 10. It's watchable, decent, and alright, but I don't think it's the best season 1 episode, and I think it's an overrated episode, to be honest. But, yeah. That's close to closing thoughts, I guess. Alright, so we have one decent episode and one 9 out of 10 episode. yeah, I'm having so fun so far, and yeah, that's my rank my so yeah, that's my how I think about these two episodes. Uh, t- don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I see you guys next time for jellyfishing and plankton. And comment down below what's your thoughts on these two first episodes first. See you next time. Encourage your boy is out.